Hey you guys, I am back to restart my twin flame talks after a lot of ups and downs that Spirit put me through and restructuring of my life. And I want to start off with Ascended Master Yeshua's, or Jesus, as you know him, 2024 message. And funny enough, it is not meant to be in conjunction with January 1st. It was meant to be in conjunction with the end of March. I don't know if there's an exact date on the real New Year. I did see a video talking about how March 25th is when societies, civilizations of antiquity days, many years ago, that is when they were actually celebrating the New Year. And it was actually the Romans who changed the New Year to January 1st. I don't really know how it worked back then in terms of defining the months and the dates and the years and all of that. But I did see a video there. March 25th was the traditional date celebrated as the New Year until the Romans changed it. And it took a while for the Romans to get the whole world on board as well. I also have seen that the zodiac year begins with March 21st with Aries season. And I have also seen some other stuff that goes along with that as the true New Year being March 21st. I've also seen that people treat April 1st because I guess it's close to the end of March. So like I said, I don't know if there's an exact date, but from what I have gathered from Spirit that I've been channeling since February and started looking into, the real New Year is the end of March, beginning of April, like April 1st at the latest. And I would say anytime from the equinox, March 21st through April 1st, or maybe that whole like little conjunction there. Ironically, or maybe not ironically actually, probably intentionally, also in conjunction with the major eclipses. All major eclipses, because there's eclipses in the spring and in the fall every year. So I find it very interesting that I was just naturally guided to, and also wrapping up cycles with the end of March, with the lunar and solar eclipse, find out that it's the true New Year, and here we are. So I ended up getting the message from Jesus for 2024 at this time. I also want to discuss a few other things today. I'm going to talk about the eclipse, the solar eclipse, because there's a lot going on. I'm going to talk about the earthquake in New Jersey. I'm going to talk about some spiritual attacks that have been going on and some misinformation out there. So I do have more than one thing to talk about here. But you know what? Let me start with what my original intention was to start with, Jesus's message for 2024. Okay, so let's start there. One sec. Okay, so I have posted this in written form already on my social media, and I'm gonna relaunch my blog with this as well. But for video, because everybody likes something different, right? So for video purposes, Jesus's message for 2024 for the collective is: my fellow divine masters and I invite you to embrace the new year as a new beginning, right here and right now, regardless of where you are at in your journey. Everything you want is already within you. You have the wisdom within your soul from igniting your divine templates established at your soul's creation. You have to reestablish your connection with your higher self so that you can remember. Earth's journey through good and evil required you to forget and rediscover yourself all over again in every lifetime. The twin flame journey is what helps you find yourself and remember how everything truly is. You are guaranteed to reunite with your beloved, as it is a fundamental part of your soul journey back to one. But only after you reunite with yourself first. We wish to assist you in reconnecting with your higher self, your twin flame soul group consciousness, and your many spirit guides here to help you realign and integrate with your true, authentic soul path. I actually, want to add to that how he says you have to reunite with yourself first. So much I hear people say, that they're holding off on making decisions or doing certain things until they're in union. You can't do that. The twin flame journey is about you reconnecting with yourself, coming into inner union with yourself in your individual journey. You are going to find your way to 3D union with your twin, but you have to be in complete alignment internally first. If you are waiting for your twin for something, you're not going to come into union yet. Spirit's going to make you wait. Spirit is going to make you wait until you come into alignment fully within. So don't wait for union to do things, and don't wait for your twin to make decisions. You need to focus on your individual path and have that complete faith and trust that you will come into union with your twin and move forward accordingly when you are meant to in divine time and alignment. Okay. I actually also had an amazing and beautiful channeled message for a client for a spirit chat in one of my twin flame readings that I knew was applicable to all twins. And so I'm sharing that as well for everybody's benefit and just taking out any personal information. And that message was, no, your relationship is not over for good. I know this feels never ending, but you have to understand it takes time to undergo a complete transformation from the inside out. This is total transmutation, the alchemy of becoming someone completely different, yet the same core essence, a nuclear reaction of the soul and the body. This is a process that requires time in order to be successfully and fully completed. I know it is a painstaking journey, but please trust us to guide you both through it. Remember that your souls know and planned out your journey even before you were born. You are one always, one with your twin. Nothing that happens in your world can change that, and you will always find your way back to each other because of it. You can never drift far apart. Don't let the matrix fool you. It's all an illusion. You are both realigning with your soul selves little by little, step by step. Don't focus on the past or the future. Trust. Focus on the here and now and becoming the best authentic version of yourself. Everything else will align perfectly as all of life happens perfectly, exactly how it's meant to be. The miraculous transfiguration of life on earth as you know it. Each and every individual is going through it in some capacity, and your world will never be the same again. Trust it, trust us, trust yourselves. All is well. Wait, I said that wrong. All will be well. All is well. All is good. Amen. And I actually had something come through channeled the other day that I took note of to talk about along with this. And it's that two things can be true at once. Okay. We can miss our twin and want to be with our twin and think about our twin at the same time as being surrendered to the divine plan and timing, surrendered to soul alignment, and choosing to be happy in the present. That's the main message. Two things can be true at once. You can be happy in the present. You can be fulfilled in the present. And you can also miss your twin at the same time. You can't turn off the thoughts of your twin. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with missing your twin and thinking about them and all the stuff. But you can at the same time choose to be happy, choose to live your life to the fullest, choose to make the best of things, and choose to just focus on your individual journey right now, because your spirit is guiding your twin through the same, and spirit is guiding your own higher selves is spirit here too, okay? Spirit is your higher selves, your spirit guides, your angels, the ascended masters, all of the above are guiding you back together when you're both ready. So focus on being ready. Don't focus on what's going on externally, okay? It's the ego mind that rejects the journey because it's not happening when and how we want it to. Those are the control issues rearing their ugly head and showing us what it is that we need to work on. We are not in inner union or ready to be with our twin while those ego tendencies are dominating us instead. We must be able to be happy and present in our daily lives, knowing and believing in the outcome without any pressure or stress about it. Okay? So that is all of the messages I wanted to share in terms of the Ascended Masters and Jesus's message for 2024 and for the Twin Flame journey and guidance. Okay, I'm going to record another video now, and I'm going to discuss the eclipse, the earthquake, and spiritual attacks that have been going on, as well as some warnings about discernment within the spiritual community as well right now. Okay, this eclipse, this solar eclipse that there has been so much chat about all over. in the media, in truther communities, in spiritual communities. I'm actually in Dallas to see it. The reason why I'm here is because my parents are very 3D, okay? I don't discuss my spiritual path with them because of that. My dad got into a whole, this is the last total eclipse I'll be able to see in my lifetime. We have to go see it. And to be honest, he booked our trip without even telling me. I'm like, I guess we're going. He asked me what dates I hypothetically would go, and then he just booked it. I'm like, okay then. And it turned into a family reunion as well. So I'm here to see it. I don't have a choice. Somebody said to me, is it safe? Are you going to go outside to watch it? I'm like, well, what am I going to do? Tell my family I refuse? So, but being away for it was also, it wasn't making me paranoid, but what was making me paranoid was the chitter chatter from the media and the truther communities all worrying about a million negative, dark things. And I usually ignore all of that stuff, but the only reason it was picking at me was because I'm away and I don't want to deal with anything while I'm away, any problems, I'm like, I don't want to get stuck in Dallas. Like, what the hell's going on? What do I need to know? And I honestly was not considering the solar eclipse to be so major like astrologers and people were. Like, to me, there's 2 solar eclipses every year. What's the big deal? And I'm not an astrology expert, so fine. I have realized it is an especially potent solar eclipse out of all of the solar eclipses, excuse me. And Magenta Pixie has been talking about in the last week or two how this solar eclipse is the sun rebirthing itself for ascension, and that's part of the reason why it's extra powerful. I know that astrologers are talking about all the different conjunctions. I honestly don't know what they are because, like I said, that's not my forte. But the astrologists are talking about the different planets in conjunction and this, that, and the other, and that is all playing a factor in the significance of this solar eclipse as well. Now, because of those things, here's the deal when it comes, and I sat down with Spirit and discussed, when I sit down with Spirit and have a conversation, I'm talking to Jesus or Ascended Master Yeshua and the kings of the Great White Brotherhood, Melchizedek. Actually, that also includes King Arthur and some other kings that I don't even know, and King Solomon and Merlin as well. But I just ask for the kings of the Great White Brotherhood, and whoever comes through, comes through. So I want you to understand who I'm talking to, okay? Because I do think that that's important. There's a lot of difference in who the spirits, the different spiritual people are talking to, and this is going to come back to the discernment message at the end, so I'm going to come back to it. But this is why I completely trust the information that I'm receiving. I have also been told, both directly and through a colleague who trance channels, and she is able to have direct communications with them as well. They have confirmed to both of us that we do not have access points for infiltration from the dark. So we've been told that we can trust all the information that we receive because there is no interference, okay? So this is why I say that, because, doing what I do, I have to be able to trust my communications with Spirit. But having that external validation as well, being told by somebody else who is able to check on it, who is able to have a conversation with Melchizedek and Yeshua and the kings of the Great White Brotherhood too, and actually she also was speaking to federal galactic agents, whatever that means. I think they were called the Council of Light. But anyway, they reassured us because we were discussing infiltration within the spiritual community, and they were telling us about the different spiritual teachers who have been infiltrated by the dark and are spreading false information. And this is why there's a necessity for discernment. But so, of course, we finish the conversation and we immediately say, well, what about us? Do we need to worry? Is everything good here? Like, what do we need to know? And they were like, no, she has, I don't know how best to say it, but she has oh my gosh, I can't talk. I can't think of the words. Jennifer has a more than adequate protections established before she was even born. I have protections established from my previous lifetime, myself in my previous lifetime, and whoever else was with me put protections on myself for entering this lifetime, and I have additional permanent protections that I put in place with spiritual practitioners I was guided to in this lifetime as well. And between the two of those things for both of us, we have 0 access points. That's what Melchizedek told us. We have 0 access points for the dark to infiltrate or interfere. Okay, 1 second. So anyway, I just explain all of that because I do consider it important with just everything going on in the world, the negative interference that's happening, and needing to understand discernment. So I'm going to come back to explaining that a little bit more, but let me go back to where I started in terms of the eclipse. So there's a lot of false information out there. The media, that's coming from, honestly, okay, so I don't talk about the truth or stuff on my page too much because it's very broad in what people believe, whether or not it's accurate or not. And there's a lot of false information. I do talk to Spirit about it myself. I do know a lot about it myself. My focus on my pages is a twin flame journey, but sometimes Spirit wants me to talk about something. So here we are, okay? The media is giving you the false negative agendas from the evil factions who have been controlling the planet since the fall of Atlantis and are trying desperately to still hold on to controlling the planet. The reason why there's all of this overhype and over hysteria about this solar eclipse is because the evil factions are trying to plan something. There is not going to be a negative effect from the solar eclipse on humanity overall. If anything, it's the opposite. The solar eclipse is affecting us in good ways, in positive ways. It is giving us upgrades and ascension codes and activations. Like, you are going to receive so much great energy. I asked, of course, like I said earlier, I'm with my family. I don't really have a choice. So I asked, is it safe for me to watch? Is it safe for anybody, not just me, to watch the eclipse? Yes, it is safe to watch the eclipse, but with the special glasses. Spirit did tell me that you would need to use the special glasses. And I even asked, what about taking pictures? Because I've seen stuff about that that it can affect the cameras on our phones. And I was told that to hold the glasses in front of the camera lens on my phone to take the pictures, that not to just hold my phone up to it. And I was like, okay. So Spirit told me, yeah, it's safe to be outside to watch, but use your glasses and use your glasses to take pictures with your phone. You know, I even asked before I left if I should get Faraday bags just to be safe because of any possible effects from solar flares or anything. And I was told no. And that even like ordering would be like participating in that timeline. And I was like, nope, not doing that. So I didn't order them, nothing. I'm like, okay, that's all I needed to know from Spirit. I'm not participating in that timeline. So that's what Spirit told me. It is safe to watch. It is a good thing. You're receiving great positive light codes and energy for ascension and whatnot. The fears that are being propagated about something happening is coming from the dark because they are trying to plan something. They are trying to plan false flag events around the solar eclipse, and they are trying to harness the energy of the solar eclipse to help themselves instead, but the light is not allowing it. That is what the kings of the Great White Brotherhood told me. The factions of the light, the Ascended Masters, the light workers, both human and spiritual, because the spiritual ones are helping the human ones who are doing the work. They are not allowing the dark to succeed with their plans to try to utilize the solar eclipse for their own means. Of course, the media is creating the fear mongering because that's what that side wants. That's what they want you to be afraid. But Spirit is here to tell me, the Great White Brotherhood is here to tell me that that is not going to happen. It's already been blocked. It's already in the process. There's nothing you need to worry about. And the earthquake is proof of that. Come back to the next video to see why, because I keep running out of time. I recorded a whole freaking video and it didn't save it. Seriously, TikTok. I don't even know where the hell I left off from in the previous one, but I believe that I was talking about how the earthquake comes into play. So I had been saying that the dark factions are trying to scare people, trying to plan false flag events, and hence scaring people ahead of time. and they're trying to use the energy from the solar eclipse to harness it for themselves and to reclaim power over the planet and not allow ascension to occur. But the Ascended Masters and the Great White Brotherhood have assured me, like, without even a shred of doubt or hesitation, that they will not be able to do that. Their goals with CERN will not be successful. Their goals with shooting the rocket ships into the eclipse will not be successful. Those are their evil, nefarious plans, but they will not be successful in them. And that's the important part that we need to know and trust, and not allow the fear mongering to get to us. The earthquake is the response to the dark from the light. The earthquake was not natural. It was planned by the light, by the good guys, planned by the Ascended Masters and angels and light beings, working with the human groups that are assisting the light in taking back the planet and stopping the evil factions. It was planned. They planned it together. They timed it when they wanted to, in conjunction with the solar eclipse, with the 4.8 magnitude, because they were sending a message to the dark factions telling them, you are not in control here anymore. You are not gaining the power and energy of the solar eclipse for your own purposes. The light is in control, and the like I said, I forgot to say this part. The earthquake was not natural. What they were doing was destroying the tunnels that the dark uses for all of their evil things. If you don't know what I'm talking about, you have a lot of research to do, okay? But yes, it was the light and the good guys destroying the tunnels and sending a message to the dark factions. You are not in control, and you will not be stealing the solar eclipse energies for your own evil gains. And that is why there was that synchronicity between the 4.8 magnitude and the 4.8 solar eclipse. It was the light sending a message to the dark. Okay? So the only thing that Spirit wants everybody to be aware of in terms of the solar eclipse, they're saying, don't worry about the evil plans. Don't worry about all the fear mongering about their electrical grids are not going to go down. There's not going to be power outages. You don't need to be worried about being stocked up on food and water and all these things. What you do need to be aware of is that because of the solar eclipse bringing in heightened energies, the underworld energy is able to tap into those heightened energies and try to use it for its purposes. The underworld energy is almost like the oversoul of the negative energy and the demonic energies and whatnot. And the underworld energy has this. We're not talking about people here, okay? We're not talking about humans. We're talking about energy and, like I said, like evil souls and energy, but like at a higher level for them in terms of trying to compare it to like going to soul and oversoul and coming back to oneness. It's oneness on the evil side. And it is using the heightened solar eclipse energies to try to affect light workers and spiritual workers. So that's what you need to be aware of. If you are a spiritual worker, a light worker of any kind, if you're learning how to use your gifts, you need to use protections right now to protect yourself, because the underworld energies are using the heightened eclipse energies to try to affect you in negative ways. This can manifest in a variety of signs and symptoms. It can be physical problems. I've discovered with a lot of people having like random pain, like very intense pains that didn't come with an injury or anything, so they have no idea why. Headaches, but it's also that's physical. It can be mental, it can be emotional, and it's spiritual as well, psychic attacks and whatnot. But it can even get into supernatural, because some of these negative energies are able to create supernatural effects too. And I even know a couple people who have been experiencing like electrical shocks and burning sensations like in their nerves and up and down their spines and things like that. And this is all connected, and it's, if you're feeling that, it's because you're very powerful and your gifts are very open, and you are trying to help the planet and help humanity as well by taking on those energies yourself to protect others, but still be aware of it and use protections. Okay. So, those are the main things I wanted to talk about. A couple more things. I did already talk about in the beginning, you needing to be careful about infiltration in the spiritual community. I'm going to do a longer, more in-depth video about that, explaining much more of what Spirit told us. But the need for discernment is heightened at this time because the dark is doing everything in its power to try to prevent ascension. So it is looking for access points everywhere. And Spirit made it clear to us that there are both dark agents infiltrating the spiritual community. And by that, I mean people joining, like spirit teachers that are gaining large platforms to spread influence over people who say that they're of the light and are spreading accurate information that they are getting from their guides. And they are actually dark agents undercover infiltrating the spiritual communities and the truther communities to spread false information and confuse people. So there's some who are intentionally doing that. And then there are other good spiritual teachers of the light who truly are of the light, but they don't realize that they have access points and that the dark is finding ways to trick them and to cause interference and give them false information or affect them in other ways that still affects their messages to the public. So it is extremely important to pay attention, to use your discernment, to pay attention to what feels right to you and what doesn't feel right to you, because not every spiritual teacher is right about everything. Even spiritual teachers that I have trusted, there are some things that they have said that hasn't resonated with me. And then when I've gone back to Spirit and asked, Spirit has said, no, that's not correct. So even spiritual teachers that maybe you're accustomed to and you trust, it's not that everything that they're saying is wrong, but some stuff might not be quite right. So use discernment on everything now. And like I said, I'll talk about this more at a later time. But I'm going to talk about two things in particular right now. One, that I opened up Instagram the other day, my personal one, and I had followed this account years ago when I first started my spiritual warfare journey. I was trying to understand all sorts of things. And it was a voodoo practitioner. I forgot that I was even following her. And she posted about that her Lawa spirits had channeled and told her that there were going to be days of darkness coming and that it's very soon. She was saying it's very soon to the present. And she referred to months or even years of no power, no electricity, days of darkness. And I went back to Spirit about that. I was like, Spirit said, her Lawa spirits are evil spirits who are trying to scare people. It is not true. And they're trying to scare people. And that is the agenda of the dark. That is what the dark is trying to accomplish. That is what the dark has planned. It is not going to happen. The Kings of the Great White Brotherhood assured me that is not going to happen. That is not a concern. You do not need to worry about that. And they said, and please tell people that also. So there are not going to be days of darkness like that. They did tell me there will be a very short period of power outages. It's not this year. That's important. It's not this year. It's sometime in the future. And it's up no longer than a week. Okay? Elizabeth April also talked about in a recent video 3 days of darkness that the Federation told her about in the past. I asked Spirit about that too. They told me that is no longer true. It was true at one point in time. It's no longer true. Okay. So let me see something real quick. Hold on. Okay. I have one more thing, but I didn't have enough time at the end of the last video. So one more quick one. I think that Spirit just wants you guys, whoever's guided to watch this, to be aware of this information, even though it doesn't necessarily affect every one of you. Basically, the dark, like I said, is desperate, trying to hold on to control over the planet however they can. So they are doing attacks. They are facilitating the dark. In this case, I'm referring to spirits. I'm not talking about people, okay? Demons, the underworld energy, are facilitating attacks on powerful light workers who are meant to help bring about ascension, who are meant to help destroy the dark, who are meant to help protect humanity and the planet for the ascension process and the creation of new earth. So my soul group went through some experiences in the last month that was integrally part of it. We're going to say that's a word. And I know there are others as well. I know there are other soul groups going through it. I know there are other practitioner groups going through it. And like I said, Spirit wants me to talk about it. So what I have learned in the last month and what we've been dealing with. Remember how I talked about infiltration for the dark also in the previous video? Discernment because of negative influences and negative interference from dark energies. Well, one of those, besides demonic, besides evil spirits, did you know there are also evil ascended masters? So I actually channeled this January or beginning of February, and it's in my list of things to talk to Spirit more about because I haven't had time to yet. But I was told that Anton LaVey is an evil ascended master, and Aleister Crowley is not just an evil ascended master, but he is also part of the Great Dark Brotherhood instead of the Great White Brotherhood. And did you know that if you look up the Great White Brotherhood, you find false information about it being evil? But that's because it came from Aleister Crowley, and he did that on purpose to try to fool people into thinking that the Great White Brotherhood is bad. But there's the Great White Brotherhood that is the kings, Yeshua, Melchizedek, Merlin, Arthur, King Solomon. They're all of the light. And then there's evil ascended masters, the Great Dark Brotherhood, and with who knows who else besides Aleister Crowley. And they are working with the demonic energies to try to hold on to control of the planet. So I have become aware in the past month that the evil ascended masters are also infiltrating communications. If you are not protecting yourself, if you are a spiritual worker, a psychic, anything like that, and you are not protecting yourself, you are allowing yourself to have infiltration. You need, at the very least, basic protections, and even better to have the strongest protections possible. My protections are 100% permanent protections. Anyway, I'm not going to discuss that. In protection of myself. But you need a minimum of basic protections. I'm sorry, hold on. I am trying to wrap this up, but twice now Spirit has deleted it. So I don't know what I'm saying that I'm not supposed to be saying. I'm going to try one more time. I need to finish because my family got home and they're downstairs and they're probably wondering where I am. So I'm going to try and wrap this up quickly, okay? As I was saying a second ago, it paused, it saved the first part. It didn't save the last part. If you are a spiritual worker of any kind, doing psychic readings, channeling for the collective, or posting videos for the collective, you must be protecting yourself as much as possible. You need to learn how to connect correctly. You need to learn the exact words and scripts to say when connecting and communicating with Spirit, because if you're not, you are open to interference. You are open to interference from all sorts of negative spirits and negative energy and negative beings. There is an evil ascended master pretending to be Jesus, answering by Yeshua even, and tricking people, giving them false information. The evil ascended masters, demonic energies, they are infiltrating and giving false information to confuse people, to take them off their paths, to turn them evil themselves. Like, I literally just watched somebody actually become possessed. Like, in a matter of weeks, she was trying to communicate with Spirit, and kept getting demonic interference, but kept trying and kept trying and kept trying, and ended up becoming partially possessed instead of just stopping and waiting until it was safe and she had the proper protections. And I had to remove that possession and transmute it for her, which she didn't even know about because she was possessed, and instead she was attacking me. But that's another story. My point is simply that there are evil ascended masters tricking people. There are demons tricking people. There are demonic demons. Demonic demons. Duh. There are demonic twin flames. So in the last month, my soul group was tasked with defeating some major demons. If you remember a year ago, my soul participated in the destruction and transmutation to the light of Beelzebub, who was the Satan of the world at the time. In the last month, my soul group destroyed Lilith and the female twin flame of Belial. So Lilith, not a goddess of the light, and there are some spiritual teachers out there who say that she is of the light and that she's a good goddess. She is not. If you see a spiritual teacher or meditations for Lilith as good, that person has negative infiltration. You cannot trust what they're saying publicly, okay? At least not about her. And that would make me question everything that they're saying. So keep that in mind. She was trying to attack and steal the energy and kill 2 important people in my spiritual group who have important higher purposes for the destruction of the dark on the planet. So we defeated her. And then she was working with the female twin flame of Belial, and they were plotting to take possession of someone to try to release the 72 demons that King Solomon contained back when he was alive. Belial is one of those demons, so no wonder the female twin flame of Belial wanted her twin back, who is a demon, a very, very powerful demon that some people consider to be the devil, contained in the Key of Solomon, 72 demons from, gosh, I don't even know what year that was. So we also destroyed Bel, we called her, and destroyed those 2 very significant demons. We were guided to then protect the sanctuary work that covered God knows how many clients over 50 years, and started working on the solar eclipse energies and protecting from the underworld energy, trying to use that. So we've been very busy the last month protecting from all of this stuff that the underworld energies have been trying to utilize to their benefit, and trying to take out important light workers and spiritual workers that are part of removing the dark from the planet. So I don't really know why Spirit had wanted me to share all of this with you guys, but they did want you to know about it. And I think the main thing is just to know that this stuff is happening. These demons are out there attacking people. These evil ascended masters are out there spreading false information, attacking people. And there are powerful spiritual practitioners and soul groups and practitioner communities that are protecting the world and protecting humanity at this time to help ensure the ascension process that goes through smoothly and successfully. And the kings of the Great White Brotherhood and the ascended masters are working with them to do all of this as well. So I think they just want you to know, and not give in to the fear-based energy. Okay, don't give in to the fear-based energy, and pay attention. Use discernment to protect yourself from being tricked, and to protect yourself from becoming infiltrated by the dark, whether it's in receiving wrong information or even so far as becoming possessed or getting an entity attachment yourself. So be aware of these things, protect yourselves, and just know that the people who are supposed to have everything under control do. So don't give in to the fear energy that is propagated as well, because it's false information. So I hope that helps. I hope I covered everything. I hope I didn't say anything I wasn't supposed to. Please save this time. Okay, I will talk to you guys again soon.